Bure Makaplan comes from there. Donald Trump has been my favorite, from day one. And I know that the media, they don't like the guy. Idi Amin. The media demonized them. There were movies when we were young, The Rise and Fall, where they said Idi Amin is a cruel dictator who eats people, is a cannibal. They name all sorts of things. But today it's a different story because people are beginning to see why is it, that they name him, like this. They're like, Elon Musk, body language, which is wrong. Elon Musk, he's aggressive. Even when Trump is sitting, he towers over Trump. He's up, he's aggressive. And that's when people started to talk of a co-president or a shadow president. They produce for cheaper. That's what we're saying. They produce lesser. If these companies were producing in America, a product will be $10. Now, because they're producing in China, this product is 10 cents. In your country, that product comes back fully fledged. It's coming to, your country. Nobody buys that product because nobody was employed in the making of that product. People are not employed. Where do they take the money? Here in South Africa, for the first time, we started to see cars now in a shorter space of time. A Golf, close to $1 million. I mean, who buys a Golf with the price of a BMW? Away. Sanmanani Makaya. This is Ike, chilling with Ike Khumalo. America, they say it's one of our number one trading partners. Look, I will say this. First of all, Donald Trump has been my favorite, from day one. And I know that the media, they don't like the guy. They've demonized the guy. But throughout history, I've always questioned anyone who's not liked by the media. I don't know why, whether it's by luck or coincidence. I always, tend to like that person. And history has proven me right in many cases. Even when it comes to people like Idi Amin, the media demonized them. There were movies when we were young, The Rise and Fall, where they said Idi Amin is a cruel dictator who eats people, is a cannibal. They name all sorts of things. But today it's a different story because people are beginning to see why is it, that they name him, like this. You can go to wars, be it Germany versus the world, the stories that were told, there's so many stories that were misplaced. So with Trump, he started with tariffs, of which I agreed with him. He makes sense. Look, there might be a pushback, there might be a clapback, but it doesn't make, for me, his position wrong. Because first of all, you remember when globalization started full force. I mean, globalization starts, post-World War. But in the 90s, it became stronger. We started to push for globalization because remember, from 1990, there was no longer the USSR, which is the Soviet. And we had a situation where the Berlin Wall had fallen. After the fall of the Soviet, which Russia, Putin was the leader in that bloc. And we started to see globalization picking up the momentum, taking over everything. So this is where I wanted to connect my point. I forgot my point, but this is where I want to go. We had situations like about China being allowed, I think it was early 2000, being allowed to come into organizations like our World Trade Organization. Remember, after the fall of the Soviets, we were told that socialism has failed, communism, it's failed. We now must liberalize the economy. It's a free market system. Even the ANC, when they came, they were known as socialists. Afrikaners didn't like the ANC because of this socialist communist league. Even though I don't believe that these guys were socialists, you can look at them, they live like capitalists, they live like Scottanians. They just use these socialist things for convenience. Even the EFF, they'll say socialists, but they talk left, walk right, which I have a problem with that. So now China came on board. Remember, the Afrikaners, they created the economy of their own because we were isolated for everything that they could not find outside. We were sanctioned. So they made it a point that if you cannot find oil, they must turn coal, if you've got coal, into gas. So everything they, started to create themselves. That's why they had a term that says Apure Maka plan. It comes from there. For everything that we didn't have, and I'm sure, if Coca-Cola, intensified the struggle and sanction, the Afrikaners would have come up with their own version of Coca-Cola. Everything they did, their banks, Sampo, Barclays Bank withdrew, they became FNB, Afrikaners came, they say Eerste Nationale Bank, all these banks, United Bank, they came up with their banks, Volkskas, Nedbank. Yeah, so it was like that. So China came in post 1994. And China, when they came into the global space, they did not compete fairly because Chinese, they're still communist. But what they did, they opened up a room, and say, international world, outside world, they must come and invest in China, but they will relax the laws for the outside investor. Companies like Apple, companies like GM Motors, they say, no, come in, manufacture in China, our workers almost for free. The same way it happened in an apartheid South Africa. It was cheaper to manufacture here. I remember my father worked for Basafbau. They used to manufacture buses, ambulances for the German market and, start from scratch. Lots of products were made here, and then we buy some, but Taiwan. So China found itself, in that advantageous position, that they could attract anyone and everyone to come and invest there. I remember it was a CEO of Toyota came to South Africa. He said, why must I invest in South Africa where I'll be told about labor rights, living wage, if I can go to Indonesia and invest for less, if I can go to China and, come up, with a cheaper product, to manufacture a plant, in China or in the East, which is the case with China. And the WTO rules under globalization, they state that companies must compete at equal footing. If Apple is there with competing with a South African company, no government must subsidize a company. They must be there on their own. Remember, in early 2000, there was an issue about the farmers in Europe. They were subsidized. Even in America, they were subsidizing their farmers. They said, no, it's against WTO rules. So America, sometimes they violate these, international treaties. And then they said, our farmers could not compete. And that caused the factories to close down. China was subsidizing, its own production, or their own manufacturers. They were subsidizing them because China is not capitalist. Their companies are state-owned. At all costs, you find the government owns 51% and more. And therefore, if the government has shares there, they will channel funds to its company, and therefore the company can afford to manufacture cheaper, taking into account that they also provide slave labor. There are no human rights in China, where a guy, he'll be saying, no, I deserve so much money. We started to hear that, in China, if you're sick, for 2 days, 3 days, don't ever bother to come to work because they've got huge number of people who are educated and huge numbers. They replace you with immediate effect, where we are told that, if you're working, you sit in front of the computer in some companies. If you go to the toilet, you find somebody else replacing you, logging in. So you cannot compete with that, because it's cheaper and therefore it's unfair because the global treaty says, no, don't subsidize your local manufacturing. And then that killed us, even us here. We had textile, factories closed down. Chicken, proper chicken. If you ate chicken in the 80s, it tasted differently, but beautiful. There was Ellis Farmer Brown. They say this chicken, they used to eat peanuts. They used to advertise them. They say they taste so well because they eat so well. Bo Rainbow. You know, they tasted differently from what we are eating now. You know, chickens, pumped with arsenic water. You find a drumstick this big, and then it's full of water. You put it there. You don't even have to put oil. This thing just evaporates. So it is like that. So that's the problem. That's where we find ourselves. And Americans, because they're a superpower, the only superpower that remained post-World War, they realized their mistakes. With damn, we made a mistake. We gave everything to China. There are certain things that they felt with, okay, let them manufacture toys. They're still inferior, or they're coming up with fake products. China started to copy what the West was doing, because remember, from the days of Chairman Mao, Mao Zedong said, copy everything that they do. I want to know what Americans are doing. If they go to the toilet, follow them. If they study something, and they came up with reverse technology, where they started to, take, products, in the West or from the West, disassemble them and make them better, without following, patent laws. And everybody with time, they started to go to China because it's cheaper. Remember, capitalists, they will go where it's cheaper. The same way as, the world came to South Africa to produce, because they knew that there were no labor rights. So it's easier to produce in China. And therefore, over time, they have strengthened themselves. And America realized later, no, we are facing unemployment. We are facing, situations that these guys, they are now coming up with products, and they got better with time. They are selling us fully fledged product, a product that was produced in China, where they employed no one of your own people, and a product that they stole from you. Everything that China is producing is not new. For the first time, we heard there's a fake of a Ferrari. Now they no longer do fake. They do whatever fake, but name it something else and make it better. They take your technology and make it better. So, as a world leader, when you see that your people are being disadvantaged, what are you going to do? I don't blame him. And even American companies like Ford, remember the first term of Donald Trump, he said, if Ford can go to Mexico and produce a car, or go to Indonesia, he will charge them tariffs or hit them with tariffs as if that product is not American. Of which I understand that, and it's fair. He says, no, you want to go to Mexico and produce this product because you're going to have a slave labor there. The production costs are lower and you don't employ people. You're not empowering us here. Therefore, you are a foreigner in America, and we're going to hit you like that, because what is advantage for us? And I understood him very well. Even your iPhone, if iPhone, they're going to go to China, produce.
Can I tell you the advantage for that? If it's lower production overheads, the price of selling also goes lower. And that's what American citizens are crying about. They're joining Elon Musk and saying, how can Trump do that? Because obviously the price is going to now increase for the people.
Who's buying the car? Who's buying the phone? Let's look at this, logistically. Let's say all companies move to China. They produce for cheaper. That's what you're saying. They produce lesser. If these companies were producing in America, a product will be $10. Now, because they're producing in China, this product is 10 cents. Who buys that product? Tell me, who buys that product? In your country, that product comes back fully fledged. It's coming to your country. Nobody buys that product because nobody was employed in the making of that product. People are not employed. Where do they take the money? Here in South Africa, for the first time, we started to see cars now in a shorter space of time. A Golf, close to $1 million. Who buys a Golf with the price of a BMW? Who buys a starter pack? We knew that back in the days, there were cars that were starter pack. But now that some of the cars are manufactured, elsewhere, we are now being hit, with rand-dollar exchange. And we cannot compete because people who must buy this car are not employed, But if people are employed in the making of that cell phone, iPhone, even if we say, it's a bit cheaper, they'll be affording to buy it because they made it, and someone else would be working at GM Motors, would be working at Ford. Ford will be in America. And therefore, that person participated in the value chain. This is what I normally argue with the taxi people. I'm saying the taxi people, they've been here around. The minibus taxis were introduced around 1978. Before that, it used to be private cars. But these guys, all they're fighting for is the root. They're killing each other. Then, there's nothing, common sense, coming into the picture. Which, you know what, guys? We made Toyota. South Africa made Toyota when it comes to these buses that they use, be it Quantum, Zolapart, High Ace. I watch movies. I've never seen High Ace Zolapart anywhere else, but in America they're using a Zolapart, a Quantum. It's only here. These guys should have negotiated and say, in the value chain, where are we? They should have called Japan and say, okay, fine, involve us. We need to be part of the development, this car, or even putting tires, being part of that. I mean, you've known, other manufacturing, BMW, they put up the car together. I doubt that everything that they use in BMW, they own. Could be Michelin, the tire, you might find that they outsource. It could be the technology, it could be maybe the radio. We used to know that, back in the days, these German cars, they used to use Grundig, the radio system and all that, because you cannot manufacture everything. You cannot create a car, manufacture technology, the cameras and all that. The production costs become higher. Sometimes they negotiate with different service providers. So the taxi industry, they should have, in line, with government negotiating to say what, we need a stake, I mean, when the president or minister of trade and industry, whatever, other countries, an equivalent of, when they go to Davos to negotiate deals, investors, they take with some of the prominent people in that area of business. Unfortunately, in South Africa, they take the very same people over and over again, Petrus Motsepe, who and all, and go there. But other countries, you find that, the president is going to China to negotiate deals. He checks, okay, fine, in textile, you and you, come with me. NGOs, who's the NGO that is prominent, helping a lot of people? Come, I'm going to introduce you, hook you up with people that side. I mean, these guys, they've got lawyers, leading them, representing them. They should have gone to Japan, or Japan, when they come here, the minister of Japan comes here, the president, and say, look, part of the agenda, the taxi industry, or this, like they do. I mean, in other countries, you find that they manufacture an aeroplane, but the engine comes from another country. So we should have been in that position to say, guys, we can't just come in and buy. Okay, fine. Can we provide you with leather seats, something, radio, because we play Maskande, we'll provide you with speakers. Then we know that Toyota speakers, they come from, KwaZulu Natal or whatever. They could have negotiated that, we'll do whatever. We'll put a Popeye there next to the mirror, dancing, entertaining the guests, So something like that, they could have just, negotiated that, but there's none. So mostly in South Africa now, we have become consumers instead of producers, because ANC, they've de-industrialized this country. They've killed industries. They talk of fourth revolution and all these things. They always talk these big terms, the 4 eyes and all that. But where are the industries? Where's the beneficiation they're talking about? Nothing. So Trump, I hear him well when he talks about lots of things. I agree with him. Even on the World Health Organization, I agree with Trump, because the World Organization, it has become a face for the George Soros of this world. It has become a face for the Bill Gates of this world. The Bill Gates goes there and he forced everyone to be injected with his testing stuff and testing, check in Sierra Leone. There was a time when these guys were running tests. From there, AIDS is booming there. People are coming, with Ebola. There was a time when there was an outbreak of Ebola. Some say that Ebola had to be dealt with because people were dying quickly, so the pharmaceuticals were not making money. I don't know. But majority of the things that are coming out now, diseases that we never heard of, because these guys, they sit behind using your World Health Organization to push their agenda. These guys who are running this world, they are sick people. They don't mind to take the DNA of a spider and mix it with the smallpox, Yeah, I'm listening.
Yeah, so I'm thinking, what role did Musk's leadership of Doge, the Department of Government Efficiency, have in shaping tensions with Trump's administration? Because obviously they've got their own skeletons.
Yeah, the skeleton, it's easy to say that they have got the skeletons, for evidence to come. It's another story. But for me, going to Elon Musk for me, he strikes me, at school, there's this guy who's a nerd. Girls don't want him. To answer your question, the question was that with Trump and Elon Musk strikes me as that guy at school who was a nerd. And Bill Gates once said, be careful of a nerd, because he will employ you tomorrow. And many of these guys, I've seen them, they are crazy when they have power. Of course, because they are one-track minded. You find this guy is in the computer, doesn't play soccer, he's overweight, he's got, big time, but he's good at this one thing. And all of a sudden he succeeds. Maybe he launches a game, this game becomes global, be it Facebook. All of a sudden this guy is a billionaire. And the rest of us who used to steal all the girls. It's a slagpan, we'll never hear the end of this guy because it's payback time, And these guys, most of them, they are not sociable. Even the cases, in their companies, sexual abuse, harassment, because they don't have skills, they don't mind. Like, I've got a friend who works at CCMA. He says, Ike, you will laugh, man. These guys who are nerds. He said, they're brought in there continuously by these women who are complainants. A guy doesn't mind to come and say, this guy is a CEO. He just approaches women and say, do you want to see my front? Do you want to see my penis? You've never said a thing. He says, I'm bigger than your man. That's how. That's how. Imagine, he said, I ask him, have they said, just in the introduction? No introduction, nothing. He sends a message, I'm bigger than your man. Do you want to see harassment? So they're like, Elon Musk, body language, it was wrong. I mean, come on. There's so many people who supported Donald Trump, even Bob Bezos. Some of them, they were against him. Even, who's this guy from Facebook? Zuckerberg. Came. But Elon Musk, he's aggressive. Even when Trump is sitting, he towers over Trump. He's up. He's aggressive. And that's when people started to talk of a co-president or a shadow president. I mean, as a person, give the man space. Even Trump said it could I couldn't fire him. I couldn't fire for 3 months. He was here for, and give a man space. We know that you supported the guy. Even he brought his son. At some point, I liked, the two of them working together, but I cringed a bit when I saw Elon Musk's son running up and down. I said, but other people, they do have kids. They don't bring them, to the Oval Office. I mean, he can find a nanny. The way this guy is so rich, he can even find Beyonce and make Beyonce a nanny for the day. Beyonce won't say no. It's Elon Musk. You can't say that you don't have a nanny. You can find Beyonce won't refuse. Even if he found, the hottest chick, the most expensive. He says he's got the money.
But here's the next thing now. So how did Musk's financial contributions, because he gave him apparently over 270 million. 300 million US.
Yes.
So how did that, to Trump's 2024 campaign, how did that influence the initial alliance and also the subsequent rift?
Look, I cannot deny the importance of Trump, not Trump, man, Elon Musk, in the Trump campaign. That cannot be denied. Even though people were tired, the liberals, they're tired of the Democrats, the Biden. I mean, come on. Now, I thought Joe Biden was going to die in the next 2 months. No. After when the first, he looked frail. I thought Harris was going to be the president. until maybe the elections. And even now, just that what's this? Kamala. Yeah, she was not convincing, but they should have withdrawn Biden and let her take over until the elections. At least she would have retired as the first female president. But they did not do that. And they started to introduce nonsensical policies. That's when people started to get tired, on gender, that males and females participate in one sport. That's when they started to fund monies. I don't know whether it was money laundering, where they find money for transgender mice, for circumcision in Cambodia. They even funded, countries that were, their enemies. So people were already tired of the liberals. I don't know whether without Elon Musk, Trump would have still, won. But unfortunately, the media still, they were pushing, the propaganda that Biden is fine, he's sane. But when Elon bought Twitter, it changed everything because the free speech was coming. Because remember, Twitter, they were banning everyone. David Icke, they were banning everyone, even Trump. They took him off, the platform. With 80-something million, followers, they took him off, and gave him free speech. That's when we had our podcast about Alex Jones coming in, about Joe Rogan coming in, and it polished him. People started to see him differently. Other than that, it was only Fox News that was covering with Trump. Everybody else, about NBC, what, all of them, they are against Trump. Because Trump is not part of your cabal. And yet they always speak of Bilderberg group, the secret society group that is run by George Soros. Yes, the deep state, of which that is true. And I'm surprised when people say, no, it's a conspiracy theory. No. For people to conspire, they need a theory. And they need to be sitting somewhere. That's a conspiracy. A conspiracy theory is when people have a theory and then they conspire, they do what they do, like they did in COVID, or they do a population control. That is a conspiracy which has been conspired for. Even in our law, there's a conspiracy to murder. You conspire to murder. But the conspiracy theory term was coined by people, who realize that you see their nonsense. Then they say we are conspiracy theorists. People do meet up. If I own a mine, I'm going to meet up other people who own mines. And then we come together as a forum and say, guys, do you see what government is doing? They want to shut us down. Let us fight back. That's what happens. Pharmaceuticals, they group themselves. They say, you know what? Our merchandise is not going. What can you do to push our merchandise? Must we create new diseases? Must we force these guys to adopt policies to buy from us? Because if they don't buy from us, there's China. Here is also selling cheaper, like we did in South Africa. Thabo Mbeki wanted to buy Nevirapine from India cheaper, and pharmaceuticals like Clicks or Pfizer, they said, hell no, you signed deals with us. But he said, no, it's a state of emergency, guys. I'm allowed to break out of the contract because this is not normal. Under disaster, you must break out from the contract. But they said no. So those are things that are happening. So Elon Musk is spend a lot of money. You were saying $300 million. You're talking billions if you bring it to US dollars. And then the only time where I falter, Elon, he knew because Trump never lied. Trump said, I'm going to do away with the electric vehicle mandate because Biden said by 2030, all the cars in America must be, electric. They're pushing that mandate. And that's when you started to see, even here in South Africa, we are now changing. South Africa was also pressured because we take a hint or a cue from these guys. Our manufacturers who are assembling cars, they were told, which, they must change their plants into EV for European market. Everybody's moving now towards, the electric vehicles. And they were doing away with combustion engine. I remember even Lamborghini said, this is the last Aventador combustion engine. But some cars are still coming up with hybrid cars. He knew, where Trump stands. And Trump has got a mandate. It's either he follows his lobbyists, his funders, or he must choose the country to say, where do I go? maybe Elon Musk thought that, you know what, he will be shielded. All these laws will apply, but not to him. But Trump never lied.
But
Yes.
what's the impact of something like that on the US economy?
Look, Elon Musk is not a small boy. Even when he threatens them, he is going to shut up his companies with immediate effect and threaten them. What's this company? Is it Cyber?
SpaceX.
Yeah, SpaceX. When he said, you know, he's threatening them, which he's going to, you know, pull the plug. He's not a small boy. And of course, it's going to have an impact we economy. I mean, Tesla, they are losing big time in the stock market. Also, that has, you know, an impact on the American economy. And I'm sure the Trump team, they are also looking into how can they alleviate that, or maybe a second meeting or another meeting, you know, with Elon Musk. But Trump is not interested, and I can understand, because just the first fallout. I mean, I don't expect that, you know what, you disagree with the policy, and then from there, Trump was explaining, which now why the fallout, you know, why Elon Musk is criticizing the policy. And then Elon Musk, in retaliation, he fires bullets, real bullets, like he will release the Epstein files and this guy must be impeached, you know, all that. For me, I felt that, you know, for people who were friends, he could have, you know, at least, you know, given the guy a call and say, Mane, how about a meeting? I'm not happy about 1, 2, 3, 4. And of course, you know, these guys, they were subsidizing his companies. And how will it look? Trump was won the presidency, he's been funded by Musk and others. All of a sudden, all Elon Musk companies, they are getting a head start. It's what we are complaining about here in South Africa. This country is run by lobbyists and multinationals. So Trump was trying to move away for a bit from that. Let's say, oh my God, yeah. Yes.
Elon Musk on June 5th, 2025 says, "This bill was never shown to me even once and was passed in the dead of night, so fast that almost no one in Congress could even read it." So then they would say Trump, and then he knew, clearly he didn't know all the information. You know, you don't think that that's possible? I mean, he wrote that right here on his own.
Yeah, that's what he says. It was passed at night. I don't know how they pass bills in America. I must admit that I'm ignorant. But for us here in South Africa, a law or a bill, it's circulated, and you know, before you know it becomes law, there's so many steps that will, you know, follow. And even if, you know, a bill has been passed, you can still challenge it in court. Elon Musk, if you are so unhappy, could challenge it, you know, in court. Even now, yeah, as I was saying about this Elon Musk Trump situation, Donald Trump never lied when he was campaigning. He made it a point, you know, to voice out his opinion about the electric vehicles. Elon Musk knew that. Maybe Elon Musk thought that, you know, he would influence Trump after the elections. But, you know, Trump has been open on tariffs. Almost everything that Elon Musk is crying, you know, Elon Musk knew where Trump stands. And I find it, Elon Musk's body, posture, positioning, disrespectful, you know, taking into account with the Oval Office is the #1 office in the world. And the way he was towering over Trump, bringing his kid. And his kid at some point pushed Trump's face, you know, in a very nasty way, like, you know, sort of smacking him. What message are you sending that? You cannot control your kid. Or your kid does have an HDD.
No, a kid is a kid.
No, your kid, you know, like, I have a problem with these kids that don't listen. Maybe that's why I don't want to be a stepfather. These kids don't listen because their parents don't reprimand them. A kid comes, visit you, he opens up fridge, he's crying, you know, This kid cannot be reprimanded. He's on top of the sofas, white sofas with feet, both is pressing the remote. All of a sudden, nobody can find the remote because the parents are irresponsible. The parents cannot reprimand this kid. The next thing, they're chasing your dog. The dog is hurtful, is running away. So these are terrorists. So this kid was all over. I mean, everybody and anybody's got kids, but they reprimand them. Even deputy president or vice president, he's got kids. He brought, his kids or daughters, during the inauguration, and that was it. So Elon Musk, even the way he talks, and I think Elon Musk, he lacks social skills or he's on drugs. I saw him the other time. Even Trump, made comment about, allegedly, but I think, that's what I think, he had a blue eye here. Donald Trump mentioned that. He says, no, that's his son. I'm not surprised. And the wife said he's on drugs. The wife said...
They offered to give him makeup.
Yeah, the wife, she says... So that's the problem, with guys who lack social skills. He could have, handled the situation better. Take into account that Trump has a mandate to America. And he's a new arrival. He could have phoned the guy. I mean, what message are you sending? To the Americans. You're not even an American. You went through Canada, you came, all the way from South Africa. All of a sudden, you throw your toys, outside the box. He could have engaged the guy, instead of threatening him with impeachment and abstain files. I mean, that's going further. That's why Trump doesn't want to talk to the guy anymore. And I wouldn't blame him. Trump was taking him, meeting the leaders in the East, South Arabia. He's ungrateful. And to say that Trump will not win without him, I think that is taking it too far. But I don't downplay his importance and his role in the whole situation. He contributed, big time, especially with Twitter information. And I understand his cries because he's a businessman. That I don't downplay. Some policies, they will affect you, but you can still negotiate. And taking into account that Trump is not there forever. I mean, Trump is going to stay there for 3 years and then he's gone tomorrow. Maybe that's why Trump is having tough time to deal with companies like iPhone, all these companies that he wants back to America. So perhaps these companies, they say, you know what, let us hold on for the next 3 years and he'll be gone and we'll be back, in China, or we can stay there. We can stomach the tariffs for 3 years because they don't know who's going to come. Maybe Vance, when he comes, he's not going to push, along that trajectory. So unlike a president who's got still a term, coming after the first term. So that is that. So Elon could have done the same and say, you know what, they're cutting my, support, but after 3 years, I mean, he's a billionaire. He's not going to go under. Yeah, you're saying?
He says he's part of the Epstein crew. Do you agree? Do you think Trump could have been part of the Epstein crew?
Look, the courts, they deal in evidence. You need evidence, And this thing, I don't know how it plays out. Like in the case Puff Daddy, they call him P. Diddy these days. What do? Do you charge everyone who's been around P. Diddy during his party or his party freak-offs, even if that person knows nothing? Because it's easy for a person to say, you know what, I was there, like Trump said, you know what, yes, I used to party with these guys, but I didn't know what they were doing. As soon as I knew the rumors surfaced, I backed off. How do you hold him accountable? He'll say, yes, I was with him. Like about TD Jakes. He'll say, I was with P. Diddy, but I did none of those things. After 2 hours, I left. I wanted to network. How do you hold him accountable?
Do you think there are, though, people that are above the law? Do you not think, Ukuthi, with somebody such as Trump, evidence could have been hidden? I mean, people that have money rarely ever go to jail.
So what must happen then? There is no court that's going to come and say, hey, there are people who are above the law, evidence hidden, guilty. The courts that deal with law. There's so many things said. What Bill Clinton, they call him Slick Willie. They say Bill Clinton used to drive, go to the parks, as a governor with bodyguards, having sex in open parks. So many people who came up during the Monica Lewinsky, Abu Paula Jones, so many people who came up and say, I was abused by this guy. His wife at that time was very powerful. I think it was what do they call it here? The Shamila Patoi here, we have a position in the National Prosecuting Authority. I think they call it Attorney General. Hillary Clinton was there, the highest office Attorney General. So he was involved, did all the protection and all that. So in court, they're dealing evidence. If you don't have evidence, you're done. If you can't prove it, then what?
Even if I have enough money, it's hard evidence.
My man, the court deal with finding you guilty beyond reasonable doubt. So if there's no evidence, you'll be basing your matter on what? Unless you're opening up the state for unlawful arrest and civil lawsuits, and the state is going to pay everyone who's been accused. Because if you're bringing me here in court, you don't have evidence, and you tarnish my name, you think that I'm going to fold my arms after that? You call me a sex offender, you arrest me without evidence, they're going to hit you with billions, you're going to be bankrupt. So the state, I don't think without hardcore evidence, even if, Trump was there, does it mean if I was seen next to a dead body, I killed that person? So that's the difficulty that they're gonna have to deal with. So, but for Elon Musk to mention that, and then now Elon Musk wants to meet Trump. He's been saying, you know what, they must facilitate the meeting. Trump is no longer interested. Of course, I myself, I wouldn't be interested. After you attacked me so hard, publicly.
You don't think Trump is emotional though? I mean, also, right? Trump is the same person that disnominated one of Elon's friends from receiving a NASA award. He's took
Why
out.
did he do that?
You don't think it's because of the feud?
No, I don't know whether it's the same guy that Trump mentioned. With this guy was our opponent, a Democrat, something like that. A Democrat is an opponent. He wanted to appoint him to certain positions. Look, in America, they've shown us, even here in South Africa, the DANC, when you win, you put all your people to put your mandate forward. There are certain strategic positions you don't give to anyone. You look and say, you know what? Here, this guy is going to sabotage us, and then I don't have the fullest details about the guy, which
You don't think that
emotions.
Donald Trump is emotional? You also
What's-
remember when he fired Colin Kaepernick from the NFL because he wouldn't kneel for the anthem?
Look,
Is he not an emotional leader?
I'm not looking at the issue from black or white. Trump believed that you must honor the flag because of America history, people who died for the flag, civil rights movement, all that. The other one believes in the other thing. And Trump voiced his opinion like anyone else. He said, no, they should fire him. Other people say, no, they should reinstate them. It's a free country. Democracy requires you to have a festivals of ideas. He didn't fire him. He said, no, he believed that, the guy should go because he doesn't believe in the flag. I disagreed with him on that, but I want to hear his view. I will not say he must air his view. And there's this thing about emotions. I've been told so many times that I'm emotional. Guys are supposed to be logical. I'm both then. But without emotions, there wouldn't be progress. I mean, there were emotions and, erosions and revolution when this earth was created. Even God is emotional, right? A Christian God rather. He was angry. The children of Israel, they were worshipping idols and he hit them, with a left hook. Those are emotions. People do come up with new solutions because of emotions. Emotions are okay. In a family, you'll find there's this one guy who's a no-nonsense guy. They know him, he's a Saddam Hussein of the family. Even Tutsis, they know, So we need that. We need a balance. So emotions are not okay all the time. Otherwise, you'll be like Will Smith.
Emotions
And
are
then-
not okay all the time. Now imagine using the biggest responsibility you've been entrusted with, such a huge responsibility, and you respond with emotion.
Emotions, That's why countries go to war, because of emotions. Sometimes negotiations don't work. This is not South Africa where Rwanda is hitting them left and right with bullets. They kill their soldiers and they capture others. And then you say, we are exploring diplomatic ways. You are still talking. You're talking forever. The enemies say they will walk all over you. South Africa, nobody respects South Africa today. They don't even have helicopters. They don't have planes. They don't have soldiers. Soldiers are overweight. Others, they get pregnant on a mission. They come back and say, who's impregnating the soldiers? Are they impregnated by generals, by the armies who captured them, the M23? Are they impregnated by themselves, or the people in DRC are impregnating our soldiers? We don't know. But, that's not a good picture, because when they're hit, cornered, you hear the president of the so-called number one in the Africa, he says, yeah, we are negotiating. Even Lesotho, hey, they don't see us. We keep on saying, no, we are looking at diplomatic ties, as we were told by Mandela, to negotiate. Sometimes you don't need to negotiate. In CAR, South Africa was humiliated during the Zuma era. They were surrounded by rebels. And what did they do? Because they don't want to be emotional, diplomatic, logical. Now we are negotiating. How would you feel when your family members is captured there in foreign land? America don't play it like that. If there are soldiers in Afghanistan, they say, release our soldiers, or else. Those are emotions. When now you'll be like Will Smith, somebody comes here in your house and sleep with your wife, and then your wife calls you to a program on TV and say, honey, how do you feel about my entanglement? Now you there. You don't want to be emotional. We have an open relationship. You smile. You must hit the table. Damn it. It's over. So the modern boy is feminized. The modern boy, you're told, it's not that deep. You're told, no, honey, why are you insecure? It's the same thing as, a woman. They'll tell you you are insecure, you are controlling. I'm saying, I must control you. I must know your whereabouts so that I can protect you. I'm the protector, So I'm like your father. So in a relationship, because sometimes you don't know what you want. So, and then they'll tell you it is not that deep. Hey, you'll go deep, Baba. Somebody has been there. But anyway, that's another story. But, but Trump is emotional, and he succeeded because of those emotions. That's why, he can command, generals of other countries with, listen, should you touch a U.S. soldier, you'll see. You need emotions. So, yeah, it is what it is. But when it comes to Elon Musk, I thought that, he was going to be wiser than that. I've seen lots of interviews. This guy, Elon Musk, he's dry. And he must accept that he's not a good speaker. He might be brilliant coming up with products and all that, but he's not a communicator. Elon Musk is not a communicator. He's dry. So sometimes I wonder, how he keeps up with his, partners and all that. You can imagine there, it's like probably even if, they want to make up or make a kid, it's like, honey, come to the bedroom, it's time. so he's like that. He's like I've seen guys like that, advocates, and then women, because I'm hooking guys up, with women says, no, we are singing, you don't have to. Then I hook up this guy, and then they come back to me and say, Ike, can't your friend, what's wrong with this guy? The first line, he opens the line. I mean, he's never met this woman. Hi, Lavi, I want to marry you. And then this woman, they get shocked with this guy. He's never even met me. Honey, I love you. The first line. So guys don't have social skills. Elon Musk, even in interviews, is a one-word answer guy. Yeah, why? No. So Trump is a fighter. And Trump has been there. Trump, at some point he was bankrupt, came back. He's been tarnished. And I'm surprised when people say Trump is racist. This is the man who's dated black models. This is the man who was always surrounded by Hollywood superstars, blacks in the main. This is the man who helped Mike Tyson, Mike Tyson says it, because you know what? I made a lot of money when I was managed by Donald Trump. This is the guy, who housed Michael Jackson for a long time for free. When Michael Jackson, was running up and down in courts, there was a time when Michael Jackson's, I don't know what was happening with his money. The judge even said to Michael Jackson, "You're a multimillionaire with a billionaire's tendencies." So Trump, had him for free. Even when Mike Tyson came out of jail, he said, "I could have had Trump's campaign when I endorsed him, but Trump welcomed me. When black people call me a rapist, here's Trump." So Trump has been there, Kanye West, he's given them monies and all that. But all those guys, because of Hollywood and the mainstream media, they don't want Trump because Trump is not part of their cabal. Emotions are important. When you say a person is emotional, we don't say he's emotional and therefore he lacks logic. And we're saying that maybe because at regular intervals or where we don't expect, he comes out, guns blazing. I would place Donald Trump as an unorthodox. He's not your diplomatic type of a person. And we have benefited from that. Have you ever thought, one day you'll hear heads of state arguing in front of us, like we've seen Abu Zelensky and other leaders, Abu Macron, talking in front of us, we never. It's always secret meeting. When they come, they're in unison. They say, "We've adopted this. We've signed 2 agreements." So Trump is gun blazing. He tells you what he's gonna do, and it, does that, exactly. So for me, I like a leader like that. He thinks like us. That's why he's popular, because he's a man, like a man in the streets. We are tired of this diplomatic, talk. Sometimes we want to hear, like our Kim Jong-un. That's why we want to hear. Somebody says, "No, I'm coming for you." So that's the guy that you need, at some point, emotions or not. But the guy would not be a billionaire if he was not intelligent. Yes.
Another question, Mike?
Right, it seems that you're pro Starlink being implemented in South Africa.
Yes.
So my question is, based on economic viability alone, I've seen that in other countries in Africa where it's been implemented, like Tanzania,
Yes.
it is at a cost of $50 on a monthly basis. And that is substantially more than what most of us are paying for fiber connection now. Given that's the case, does that not make it non-viable for people who have the fiber option, and it becomes now specifically for people in remote or secluded areas that are left with no alternatives but Starlink?
Hey, you mentioned $50. $50 is a lot of
It's
money.
1,000 rand, yeah. Now fiber is what, $700?
Yeah,
For 50 megabytes?
it's a lot of money, but hopefully, with their introduction here, the prices will go down because they'll be competing with other service providers. I hope they won't be working, in one team. So, yeah. So I just hope that, the prices are going to be driven down. I'm trying to capture the other part of your question, was it?
I was saying then it is going to be specifically for people who are in
Yeah.
remote, isolated areas. It's not going to be for us because it's cheaper than $50 now as we speak.
I don't know, because remember when they signed these deals to bring Starlink, they still have to fine tune it, its finer details and tell us exactly what's going to happen. Because when these policies sometimes are drafted, they're so vague, like the NHI. No one knows exactly, how it looks, as a final product. We are told, there'll be national health. Nobody exactly. So even this one, they need to fine tune it so that you can critique it. We can comment, you can raise objections. So for now, for me, I love to have as many service providers as possible, even from here in Africa, to compete. We must have alternatives. The same way Trump said, because you know what, we can't have one mandate for electronic vehicles. Musk or whosoever. We need those who want to use hybrid, those who want to use gasoline, even here, But unfortunately, there are those people who are regulators, who are manipulating things, which, you can't come in. There was a kid that, I don't know whether it was from Angola, some time ago, 5-6 years ago. The guy came up with a cell phone that doesn't need airtime.
No.
You never hear of that guy again. The same way as guys who came up with a motor vehicle that uses water. Yeah, because it's competing with the, guys who are involved in oil. And if you come up with a cell phone that doesn't need airtime, come to think about it. Airtime, what are you buying on airtime? Because the air is supposed to be free. Maybe I'm taking it from a layman's perspective. All you need to do is to manipulate the waves and currencies. They're already there. If I can come up with a device that can connect and recognize your device wherever you are, why do I need to pay someone else who's a middleman? But I don't know. Maybe the regulators will be saying, they must control, flow traffic. There must be order, like in our roads. You cannot just drive anyhow. I don't know how it works, but it's quite interesting that there are people who group themselves, and then they start to manipulate. That's where the conspiracy comes in, and that's where they theorize it. And then people say conspiracy theory. They theorize this thing and say, you know what, we can't let them in. We can't be free for all. And we are told that it's a free market system. It's not really free, It's governed by those with money. But we hope that, there'll be many service providers coming in. I mean, you cannot be subjected to your MTN, the very same comrades, who've starved us. I mean, Bo, Putumantleko, Cyril Ramaphosa, they've got shares in these companies. And, for them, it's about money, and profit. So that is sad. Yeah, you're saying what?
So definitely, I absolutely agree with you that we need more competition, more service providers, and hence upping the par, right? However, I'm assuming that you're all pro Starlink, right, being in South Africa. However, don't you worry that Elon Musk, who once threatened to take out the biggest spacecraft that NASA has, might eventually use the same kind of leverage against South Africa if things don't go his way here. When we come here and now try to dictate our own politics, or else, just like he always does, eventually Starlink is going to be the leading one in South Africa. Clearly, they're going to South Africanize it, make it cheaper. Everyone is going to go to Starlink, and won't he use that leverage to now influence the government the same way the Guptas have, the same way the Billy Gators have?
Yeah, it is for that reason. Akere now is shown what type of a person he is. You must put mechanism on the ground to make sure that does not happen. You cannot be saying, no, this guy is going to muzzle us. The same argument that I normally say with African leaders. You cannot be crying for 70 years and say, it is the West, it is the CIA, they're sponsoring rebels. Have you no counter? Are you that stupid? You cannot be crying, in DRC, in Sierra Leone, in Nigeria. You keep on saying the CIA. But, it's like, you are a child who's helpless. Have your counter, at international level, legally, physically, protect yourself. So even here, bind him to contracts that should this happen, you're liable in breach, this and that. If you've got contracts, tie him down to contracts. And have a counter with, if he fails to do that. So for me, yeah, Elon is just that now, he's very childish. He's spoiled, So unfortunately, that's where we find ourselves. But we need as many service providers as possible so that you can have a choice. You cannot be subjected to one. The same way as in the cars. We need a Tesla here. Our government officials, they should be riding on Tesla, whatever, that is convenient, not be tied to these German cars, you cannot use any other cars. Tesla should be here, produced here, employing people here. They should have negotiated with Elon a long time ago.
My last question is, do you think it was a good thing that they broke up for America and or for South Africa?
Between Trump and Elon? I don't know whether it was a good thing. It was bad to see, it's horrible to see how it happened, because I thought that, they will work together. But most of us were nervous, most of us who've been following Trump, we were nervous, but, I wonder for how long will this last? Because these are two people who like to be independent. Trump doesn't want to be told, Elon is like that, more or less, I would say they're dictators in a way, you know. Billionaires are people who follow their own rules. So it's difficult to have two kings in, you know, one room.
And lastly, do you reckon or see any similarities between Elon's behavior and Floyd Chirambo's and Malema?
You're comparing things that are not comparable. These ones, I don't know, man. I'm trying to find weights that are palatable. This
What's your thoughts on Floyd?
normally I don't think of Floyd, but I will say this: Floyd, he made a mistake ngokujoina MK party, unless it's a strategy of the EFF. Unless it's a strategy of the EFF to go collapse MK. I don't know how, because in the EFF he was respected. Even though Malema had said that he's here to stay, he's going nowhere. Because I remember there was one press conference, I think that's the press conference that shook Floyd. Because after the elections, their dismal performance, Malema was saying, I'm going nowhere. I mean, if you want to challenge me, you know, I'm still young, I'm still healthy, I'm going to be here. And whoever's challenging me is going to come out, you know, bloody on the other side. I think Floyd realized, you know, this thing is also a family business of Ratanang. You know, I'm not going to lead this thing anytime soon. The same way as Mkhonto receives, it's a family stock failed. You can see what it was. Come on. I mean, for me to believe in the MK or Zuma, I even told Uvavi at some point, Magat, you know, I supported Jacob Zuma because they believed that it was going to support their program. I said for me to believe or to have believed in Jacob Zuma, even then, I needed to lower my thinking capacity, my brain, to 127 degrees below zero temperatures for me to understand what Zuma. But other than that, I don't see Zuma, MK. Yeah, Nyabezolo what Kwaza Mkhonto. I can take Kwaza lapho. They just want to eat. Check their members. You know, these are people who just want to eat. You know, so that's where we find ourselves. Yeah, but other than that, as I'm shutting down, closing, yeah, as they normally say, you go to follow, share, subscribe, comment. Yeah, I'm out. You know, I'll see you next time on another episode. Yeah, where we're talking about life in general. Ayoba.